Welcome everyone to the Board of Commissioners meeting, February 13, 2024. As you see, we have a couple of commissioners that are on the way. They're stuck in traffic, but we will proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance and recognition of the school student and the teacher. And if Nadia would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Recognition, student, Miss Nadia Newkirk, come up please. Wakeland Elementary School student Nadia Newkirk is an outstanding 5th grade student. She shows up for school each day ready to give 110%. When it comes to character traits, she has many positive ones. Nadia conducts herself with integrity and kindness, always willing to assist her classmates. She is an exemplary role model to those around her. She is seen as a student leader and models what it means to be a Wakeland Bulldog. Nadia has served as a school safety patrol leader, and she also serves as a peer mentor to some of our students with learning disabilities. We are so proud of her and delighted to have her in our classes. She is one of a kind. The town of Zebulon recognizes Nadia Newkirk as Wakeland Elementary's outstanding student and role model for students on this day, February 13th, signed by the Mayor, Glenn L. York. Next, we have recognizing the teacher from Miss Christina Vick. Would you come forward, please? Miss Christina Vick is a phenomenal 3rd grade teacher. She is our current teacher of the year. We are certain that she will be voted Wake County Public Schools Teacher of the Year. She goes beyond our expectations when bringing instructions and the love for learning alive for our students. Her positive attitude, positive work ethics are contagious. She always looks for the best ways to assist with school-wide implementation. She plans weekly instructional and engagement opportunities for our students to learn. Ms. Vick does a superb job supporting her team teachers with reading and math instructions. She is currently helping us to lead our first girls to the Run Club, where she leads a small group of preteen girls in what means and what it's looked like to make healthy decisions. She is amazing, and we are so lucky to have her. The town of Zebulon recognizes Ms. Christina Vick, Wakeland Elementary School, for her exceptional service and commitment to her students. This day, February 13, 2024, signed Mayor Glenn L. York.
Oh, that was okay.
Now we will have the approval of the agenda.
Mayor, I have a couple adjustments to the agenda, please. I would like to pull the board comments A, B, C, and D from board comments and put them in old business, please.
A, B, and C, okay.
Mayor, I would like to pull some things from consent. I'd like to pull the bond referendum ordinance, the drone purchase ordinance. I would like to pull the police station HVAC replacement ordinance. I would also like to pull the professional service budget ordinance.
Anything else?
Yes, Mayor, I would like to not pull, but revise the meeting minutes for the meeting from January 8th of 2024. I would like to revise the minutes in a text. I made the motion and it was seconded by Commissioner Baxter, and we need to revise them to include that the scope of the condemnation is as follows: along Shepherd School Road, permanent right-of-way, permanent utility easement, and temporary construction easement, as well as adding in along Old Bun Road, temporary construction easement to the minutes for that meeting, and they have already been given to the town clerk. I would like to make a motion to revise those minutes.
Anything else?
Mayor, the chief has a request to add a recognition under recognitions and proclamation. So if that could be included by the board, we would appreciate it.
We can do that early, so they don't have to say.
Do you need a motion to include it?
Yes.
Okay, I move to include the recognition from Chief Boykin.
I second.
Do that separate, or can we do them all together? Or that's just,
You can do it all together.
okay. Any more? We have a motion.
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
We have a second. Commissioner Davis, all in favor? Motion passes.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here tonight to recognize an exceptional achievement of one of our officers. In North Carolina, law enforcement officers are certified through the Department of Justice. The Training Standards Division uses a graduated certification program to recognize level of competency, foster interest in formal education, and attract highly qualified candidates to our profession. Eligibility for the various levels of certification is determined by a formula that combines formal education, in-service and continuing education training, and work experience. The highest award given is the Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate to officers with at least 12 years of service and 48 credits of training and education. Officer Andrew Crumpler is our only non-ranking line officer in the department to receive the advanced certification. This certificate was issued on November 17th, 2023, issued by Attorney General Josh Stein, Commission Chair, Retired Chief Chris Blue, and Standards Division Director Jeffrey Smythe. It's signed by the 12 Commission members. Tonight, we commend Officer Andrew Crumpler for his dedication to the profession of law enforcement, commitment to the Zebulon community, and interest in continued self-development through training. Congratulations. Thank you.
Next, we have a couple of proclamations. These proclamations were read earlier at the event because we didn't have a meeting at that time. So I'm going to allow Mayor Pro Tem Harrison. She read them at the event, but I would like them read also in the meeting.
All right. Thank you. These proclamations were given to the students and staff at Zebulon GT Magnet Middle School in honor of FCC LA Week and in honor of the Career and Technical Education Month. The proclamation for FCC Week in the town of Zebulon reads, whereas Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, the national nonprofit family-focused intracurricular student organization for family and consumer sciences students through grade 12 helps youth assume their roles in society through family and consumer sciences, education in the areas of personal growth, family life, college readiness, career exploration, leadership, and community involvement. And whereas the organization extends classroom learning through chapter service projects that develop leadership and employability skills and helps young women and men learn how to plan, make decisions, and carry out an evaluation programs of action through working with other youth and adults within their school, community, and state. And whereas FCC LA offers members an opportunity to work together for common purposes for the improvement of themselves as well as their families, careers, and communities. Whereas the week of February 12th through 16th, 2024 has been designated National FCC Week. Now, therefore, I, Glenn L. York, Mayor of the town of Zebulon, hereby proclaim the week beginning February 12th, 2024 as National FCC LA Week in the town of Zebulon and urge all citizens to acquaint themselves with the activities and values of family, career, community leaders of America to show interest in and provide support and encouragement to the students who are working to achieve knowledge and experience that will help prepare them for future responsibilities as active and concerned adult members of society. Signed, Mayor Glenn L. York. Proclamation. Whereas the Association for Career and Technical Education has designated February 1st through the 29th, 2024 as Career and Technical Education Month, and whereas CTE offers students the opportunity to gain the academic, technical, and employability skills necessary for true career readiness, and whereas students in CTE programs participate in authentic, meaningful experiences that improve the quality of their education and increase their engagement and achievement, and whereas CTE provides students with career exploration opportunities earlier in their educational experience, which enables them to make informed and beneficial decisions about their academic coursework and pursue established programs of study and career pathways. And whereas leaders from business and industry nationwide report increasing challenges related to addressing the skills gap and connecting qualified professionals with careers in critical and growing CTE-related fields such as advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, energy, healthcare, information technology, and transportation. And whereas CTE prepares students for these and other fulfilling careers by offering integrated programs of study that link secondary and post-secondary education and lead to the attainment of industry-recognized credentials. And whereas CTE programs ensure that employers have access to a qualified and thriving workforce, ensuring our nation is strong and competitive economy. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Glenn L. York, Mayor of the Town of Zebulon, do hereby proclaim February 2024 as Career and Technical Education Month, signed this 5th day of February 2024, Mayor Glenn L. York.
Thank you.
I can see why you handed that off.
Right.
You next. Next, public comment. We have a few that signed up for public comment. You come to the podium over here and state your name and address. And the first one we have is Joe Shambly.
Joe Shambly, 200 East Sycamore Street, Zebulon. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, tonight we're here to ask you to save part of history in Zebulon at 200 East Horton Street. My dad, Zebulon Whitley Shambly, was born in the house and was the first boy born in the town after it was incorporated in 1907. I, too, was born in that house. It has a lot of value, a lot of memories. The house is part of Zebulon's history as one of the oldest homes in Zebulon. It is on the historic list of homes in Zebulon. I ask you to save the house. We don't need anything on the site but the house. The house is part of the town's history. Let's do the right thing and save the house. It has lots of potential. It doesn't need to be torn down or done anything else with other than save the house. Let's do something with it that will be useful and be used by all the citizens of Zebulon. Let's save Zebulon's history at 200 Horton Street. Let's save the house and make it a showplace, anything but a parking lot. History can be made. Let's save the house and make it a place to go to and not a place to park at. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have John Saffel.
Good evening, Town Board, Mayor. How are y'all tonight?
Good.
So I have a few things from the chamber that I want to update y'all on and a few gifts for y'all as well. Want to thank the Town Board, Parks and Rec, the Police Department, the Fire Department for their support with Deck the Halls in December. We ended up having a very successful event and a wonderful time within the community. And I believe, Mayor, you've already gotten your T-shirts. You and I have texted back and forth.
You can give me another one.
We can give you. We'll let y'all arm wrestle. How about that? So I have those that you all did not get picked up. I think I got sizes from each of you all. Stacy, may I leave these with you? Yes. Thank you so much. But that's your memento. Thank y'all so much for your support with that. And then also recognized the town as one of the newest chamber members at our December Business After Hours with Naren Merritt. And so want to officially say welcome in this context. And we also have fresh, hot off the presses membership decal. I'm going to give that to Stacy as well, so that someone can display that here at Town Hall as representative of your membership. Quickly, some updates that we've got going on. Met today with the Wendell Chamber and some representatives of both the Zebulon and Wendell Chambers from both towns, where we're putting together a women's business alliance for East County. And we will be having our first luncheon, Women's Business Summit. We're still coming up with a snazzier name, but that will be on April 16th from 11:30 to 1 at Mudcat Stadium. And so the Mudcats will be helping out with that by providing a space at Cattails. So we'll be sending out more information in the next week or two along those lines. And then also want to thank Mayor York and Bobby Fitz for making themselves available for the upcoming Coffee Connections with the mayor on where we'll be discussing property tax revaluation. So I sent that out today. We only have 3 spots left. So obviously that's a very popular topic. So I want to thank so much the partnership with the town, the growing partnership with the town, and look forward to continuing to forge ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Dallas Pierce.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the Board of Commissioners. I'm here tonight to speak to you on behalf of the Downtown Merchants Association, of which I am the chairman. And also I reside at 434 Rogers Road, Zebulon, and own and operate Dallas Pierce Realty, downtown Zebulon. We sent you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, a copy of a letter. Did everyone receive that? You did? Okay. I would like to read that letter just for the record and for the people here. The Zebulon Downtown Merchants Association objects to the following proposals adopted by the commissioners for the organization of the nonprofit corporation to implement the Main Street program in the town of Zebulon for the following reasons. Number one, the current proposal authorizes the appointment of members to the board of directors for the nonprofit corporation that live within the ETJ of the town of Zebulon. We object to anyone being a member of the board of directors of the nonprofit corporation who does not live within the city limits of the town of Zebulon or own land within the downtown overlay district or operate a business within the downtown overlay district. Number two, the current proposal authorizes the current committee for the Main Street program to nominate and appoint the initial members of the board of directors to the nonprofit corporation. We object to anyone being a committee, on a committee to nominate and appoint the initial members to the board of directors for the nonprofit corporation who does not live within the city limits of the town of Zebulon or own within the town overlay or operate a business within the downtown overlay district. Number three, the current proposal authorizes the organizing committee for the Main Street program to nominate and appoint themselves to the board of directors for the nonprofit corporation. We object to anyone being a member of the board of directors for the nonprofit corporation, including the members of the organizing committee who does not live within the city limits of the town of Zebulon or own land within the downtown overlay district or operate a business within the downtown overlay district. We recommend that the town of Zebulon authorize the current members of the Zebulon Downtown Merchants Association to complete the organization of the nonprofit organization to implement the Main Street program and to nominate and appoint the initial members of the board of directors for the nonprofit organization within the requirement that the board of directors meet the following minimum criteria. Number one, 3 members of the board of directors shall own land within the downtown overlay district. Number 2, 3 members of the board of directors shall own and operate a business within the downtown overlay district. Number 3, 3 members of the board of directors shall reside within the city limits of the town of Zebulon, respectively submitted for your consideration this 13th day of February 2024. At this time, I would like to ask anyone here tonight that is here in support of the Downtown Merchants Association to please stand. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Next, we have Mike Weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. It's my pleasure to be here tonight on behalf of the Downtown Merchants Association, of which I am a proud member. We have expressed our concerns about the current proposal for the implementation of the Main Street program. The Downtown Business District can and will benefit from the implementation of the Main Street program if it is implemented properly. We're very, very enthusiastic about the information they provide, about the resources that they would give the downtown merchants access to, and the overall expertise which would be made available to us. We do believe that there has been some discussion about a special tax district which seems to be connected with the Main Street program. We clearly understand that they're not the same thing, and what we would, at our position, would be that the town should not pursue a special tax district involving the downtown area until requested to do so by the Main Street organization that is appointed to implement the Main Street program. We do commend the town of Zebulon for providing excellent staff to support the organization of the Main Street program. We would like to ask the town to continue to do that. As you're probably aware, Main Street is made up primarily of small businesses that work long and hard hours to succeed in the downtown area. As such, they do have limited time to which they can commit to extra activities, and having a dedicated staff who are available to do that, not necessarily full-time staff, perhaps even a very small full-time equivalent, is essential to making the downtown program a success. To continue with what Dallas Pierce said, we do believe that in order for the Main Street program to be a success, that the board of directors on the corporation that is appointed to implement the program, that they should be stakeholders in the downtown area. Stakeholders such as owners of businesses or owners of land within the area. And finally, we as downtown merchants do commit ourselves to work with you, the commissioners, and the other staff of the town of Zebulon to implement and make this program a success if we're given the opportunity to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have, is this Helen Graff? Hela Graff?
Hi. Good evening. My name is Helga Graff, and my husband and I, John, moved here about 2 years ago. We moved here because we liked the community spirit. We wanted an older home, and we live at 302 East Horton Street. We are concerned about the property at 200 East Horton Street. It was at one time a beautiful home. I have seen it deteriorate just over the 2 years. I'm also concerned about the large property that is on the corner of Poplar and Vance. I have some ideas about what could be done with the property. I would love it to become a living history park, like Mordecai, very much like that. The house could be renovated. It would be beautiful. It's one of the oldest houses in Zebulon, And I think it would be just a showcase. It could be a teaching and learning experience for all the children, for adults who come. It could be a peaceful place to sit and just relax if you want to, and have an herb garden. I mean, these are dreams, but I also think that piece of land that is on Poplar and Vance would also be a wonderful community garden. I mean, that's what people here need, something to draw the children, and, you know, they could learn how to grow things, people could come together. It's a way for people to be together and share the community. It may just be a dream of mine, but I think these two properties are wonderful properties for something like that. So that's what I wanted to say, and I do think that home could be saved, and I think it should be saved because it is a part of Zebulon's history. And I live on the street where the house is, so that's also important to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Scott Carpenter.
Honorable Mayor, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, good evening. My name is Scott Carpenter. I reside on East Horton Street. Commissioners, at last month's meeting, you were presented with Ordinance 2024-23, 2024-24, and Resolution 2024-16. You defeated these requests. I thank you for your decision to do so. Had they passed, then town staff would have been able to decide how to spend $1 million to purchase land without citizen input. This comes after what public records show is the town's recent acquisition of 201 East Vance Street and 200 East Horton Street, purchases using public funds of $388,000. I applaud you for halting last month the authorization to staff only to determine how to spend another $1 million. And I ask you to put an immediate moratorium on land acquisition by the town. According to NC Open Meetings Laws and Public Records Act 1, the public body may go into closed session to instruct the town staff concerning the position to be taken on behalf of the town in negotiating the price and or terms of a contract for acquisition of an interest in real property. 2, upon request, prior to going into closed session, the public body must disclose the location of the property, the identity of the owner, and the proposed use of the property. See also Boney Publishers, Inc. versus Burlington City Council. 3, when final action in closed session is authorized, minutes indicating what action was taken are required to be made public. 4, closed session meeting minutes may be withheld from the public access or sealed for as long as is necessary to avoid frustrating the purpose of the closed session. The properties have been bought. The reason for the closed session is done. There is no longer any chance of frustrating the purpose of the closed session. The only thing that's frustrating is we haven't seen the minutes, and you did not reveal the location, owner, and your proposed use of the property before going into closed session. Please tell the citizens what were your intentions and reasons for purchasing those properties. And please seek input from the residents who live in town. Why? Because it is important for the town and staff to continually engage the community for input and to incorporate their feedback into future capital improvement decisions. Where does that idea come from? That comes directly from page 129 of the Zebulon Parks and Recreation Master Plan, a section titled, quote, continue to engage the community to meet neighborhood needs, unquote. You haven't disclosed your reasons. The town has not engaged with anyone on my block. If there are citizens present tonight who would like to see those minutes, please stand. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. Again, I applaud your decision last month to defeat the land acquisition ordinances that were put before you. I ask you to put a moratorium on land acquisitions, and I ask you to engage with the community in making public your intentions on future land acquisitions.
Thank you. Were there any emails as far as public comment submitted?
Yes, Mayor. I received some comments submitted that were sent to Commissioner Miles, and he forwarded them to me, if you'd like me to read them.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. They did exceed the 400-word limit, so I'll stop after 400 words. And they were submitted from Dr. Crowan. Commissioner Miles, before your meetings next week, I wanted to send the notes that you requested regarding the revelations at last month's town meeting, as you had asked for that night. Please feel free to call for any clarification of points which I failed to adequately explain or discern. For several years, we have been told of a Main Street project that would promote the development of new ideas in consultation for the town commissioners. This project has cost taxpayer money to develop and was presented as a resource to help support the growth of the town, particularly the downtown area. Last month, we were advised that this committee of people will be provided taxpayer contributed funds to initiate planning, which now seems to include hiring staff to facilitate their efforts. That a staff would be salaried and provided benefits, further requiring citizen contributions. This was a new revelation, as was that the committee would be able to spend taxpayer funds without prior citizen input. This was cleverly explained as that they would be given a budget and that the town commissioners could disapprove further funding. If they were unsatisfied with any prior spending habits of the committee members, still, in the described plan, there is no direct citizen-elected representation of the immediate use of taxpayer dollars. More of a concern, it was then shared that none of these persons were to be elected. They were to be appointed. And if the citizens of Zebulon were not satisfied with any of their actions, legally, morally, fiscally, there was no mechanism to remove them by popular vote or otherwise. Even the town commissioners would have limited influence over them after they were appointed. The value of the Main Street Committee was described as the town's access to statewide resources and influencers, a sort of cool kids club that permitted this group to influence town direction, spend town money, and not be accountable to the citizens of the town. It sounds both elite and unacceptable, not a historically sound structure of representation. It is a likely pathway to corruption and social conflict. A lack of accountability promotes corruption. As a volunteer committee of consultants who research, suggest, and advise, the Main Street Committee sounds like a worthwhile venture. That's the way it was presented. This morphing group of downtown unelected HOA directors spending town resources being catered to by town paid staff.
Thank you. Any other emails for public comment
No, sir.
or written mail for public comments?
No, sir.
Thank you. Next, we will move on to consent.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as amended.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Board appointees.
Stacy, I received an application today that I had not had time to give to you prior. Can I give this to you now?
Yes, I'll take it. And Mayor, the agenda was amended to move board comments to old business, so that would be next, old business.
That goes first.
Okay.
A, B, C, D.
So the first item
It will be
was
personnel policy.
policy, sponsored by Commissioner Miles, co-sponsored by Commissioner Harrison. Commissioner Miles?
What I'm looking for, I guess somebody have to represent, kind of giving an update on where we stand with the personnel policy.
I can provide that update to the board. So the last time I talked with Ms. Markland, Professor Maynard has completed his portion. I have not seen that, but I did ask her to then pass it along to Dr. Jordan. Dr. Jordan, you may recall, is the one who was overseeing our diversity, equity, and inclusion training. I've asked her to look at it because I wanted to make sure that we don't have anything unintentional that's in the personnel policy that is exclusionary. After I have a chance to look at that, I'll review that and bring that back to the board. So that's where we are right now, and those are the next steps.
Can we please have a date as to when that's going to happen? I think that this needs to be time-bound. We've been trying to get this established, and we've been trying to get answers for this for quite some time. So do you have a date in which you can come back before the board with that?
I don't. I really need to talk with Ms. Markland. I can come at the next, well, after she gets back in country, after I've had a chance to talk with her, I can provide a schedule then. But right now, I just haven't seen where that policy is right now.
Can you please give us an idea of when she's going to be back so that we can have some kind of indication as to when we can expect to hear from you as to when that date might be decided upon?
I can give the board a schedule at their March regular meeting. She'll be back before then.
So I'll look forward to that at the March regular meeting. Thank you.
So at the March regular meeting, we're going to have a draft? Is that
No,
what we're gonna have?
you'll have a schedule. I can't give a schedule right now because I haven't seen the document, and I'm not going to suggest that I can deliver a policy when I haven't had a chance to look at it.
We've been working on this policy for about 2 years now. And like it's time now we get something implemented. I think it's just key right now. So the scheduling will take place at the next one, and then we'll be able to, when do you project this? Some projection that you have for a date potentially that we have something in play?
I'm not going to I know you want a schedule. I know that we've been working on the policy for a long time. The working on the policy is a reflection of, as important as the personnel policy is, it is not urgent. And we are, particularly in the Human Resources Department, especially having to deal with clerk duties, especially having to do with IT duties, we are handling the most urgent issues. And so what I don't want to do is put a schedule on that department when I haven't had a chance to speak to them and also see what all their other requirements are. So I fully respect that the staff has been working on this policy, but I'm not going to forward a schedule that's flying blind, so to speak. So I would like the opportunity to talk with staff. I can give you a schedule at the March regular meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments on personnel policy? Hearing none. Next was Assistant Town Manager position sponsored by Commissioner Miles, co-sponsored by Commissioner Harrison. Update.
Basically, that's what I'm looking for, an update. But I also want to express the importance of it right now, kind of to get that Assistant Town Manager in place.
My last update on this topic was, again, this goes back to the bottleneck that we have in human resources. I've got to get some relief to that department. So as I said last time, we'll start the assistant town manager search after we've completed the hiring of the IT director.
What I'm looking for this, I want to put a drop dead date on this, June 1st of 2024. I would like to see the assistant town manager in place.
I'll take a look at what the schedule is for the IT director.
I would like to know the thoughts of my fellow commissioners. What do you guys think on June 1st, 2024? Put a date on it. This is another year and a half.
I think that putting a date on it is important because we have continued to fund the creation of this position, and yet this position has not been created, and we do not have an assistant town manager. I think that some of the backlog that we experience is because we don't have enough support, and the assistant town manager would absolutely provide that and be able to be a pressure valve for all of the myriad of things that we have going on in the town. So I would like to maybe suggest that at the March regular meeting, a clear action plan for the hiring process and a closing date for the application process be delivered to the board. I think that that's probably a little bit more reasonable than hired by June. But we are gonna, I'm creating some expectation here that this is going to be delivered to us at the March meeting. And so please feel free to go ahead and add that to the agenda now.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
that's absolutely doable.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments concerning Assistant Town Manager position? Hearing none. Next, branding update, sponsored by Commissioner Miles, co-sponsored by Commissioner Harrison.
Once again, I'm just looking for the update where we stand and express the importance of we get our branding down packed. What we're running into now, there are articles coming out with a motto that doesn't belong to the town of Zebulon. So we started to see where the quote phrase, where you belong, is starting to be published in documents. Recently, it came out in a Raleigh, Visit Raleigh, basically as our town motto. That is not our town motto. So I'm trying to so we can all get on one accord.
Yeah, I'm super disappointed that something that has not been approved of or even run by the community is being used in official publications. We need to have a cohesive message, and we need to agree on what and how we're going to represent ourselves to the greater Raleigh area. I mean, we want all of the great things about Zebulon to be encapsulated in both our motto and our branding. And so I'd like us to get this branding figured out, and I would suggest that we refrain from using verbiage that hasn't been approved and doesn't reflect who we are in future publications.
And I will say, as far as the branding, I was disappointed to see lingo that the citizens nor the board had approved on us using to represent our town. And I feel like maybe, I'm not sure where the hiccup or the halt is with the branding update, but if the issue is company-based or person-based, then maybe we need to have a directive to maybe bring us more options back so that we can get something that we can all agree on. I'm not sure, so I think we just need a little more clarity to see where we are so we can know what next steps needs to be made, because this is something that we really want to see happen sooner than later. Thank you.
I've got some comments that might be helpful. As you've seen in last month's work session, and you'll see in this month's work session, staff is bringing before the board requested budgets for the FY25 budget. And last month and this month, you've seen operating budgets. Next month and in April, we'll start to bring you capital budgets. One of the capital budgets we're going to bring you is in community and economic development. As part of that presentation, you'll get an update of where we are and what your potential next steps could be.
And that's in April.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments concerning branding update?
None at this moment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Main Street MOU and bylaws, sponsored by Commissioner Davis and co-sponsored Commissioner Miles. Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring this back up before the board. As you've heard, we've had some questions and concerns. My concerns regarding this is the way the board is represented at this time, it would be 3 property owners for downtown Zebulon. Then we would have 3 business owners as well for downtown Zebulon. And then there's only going to be 3 representations for outside of that. And to me, that is not reflecting on providing diversity within downtown and reflecting Zebulon as a whole. So I wanted to ask the questions in regarding how we can make this look different so that this board is more a representation of an inclusive Zebulon.
Is that Main Street rep? We have Teresa tonight at time?
I mean, I'm guessing what you're asking, how do the bylaws get revisited and changed? Is that the question?
Correct.
That is the question, yes.
That's a board direction. If the board wants to revisit that, then I would recommend making a motion to revisit this. I will say that we've already received board direction on this, and the application may have already gone to the Secretary of State. So just, we can come back to you, but really that's a change in direction. So the only thing I know to suggest is for the board to make a motion to revisit this and see if there's board support for it.
Make that motion.
That's what I would like us to do that, because again, to me, this is very important, that this board is full representation of the town of Zebulon. And if we go in this direction, that's not going to be the case.
So are you looking for more of a conversation? And if so, could this be something that happens after the Main Street Conference?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I could do that.
Because I think that
Get a lot of
will
answers.
provide an opportunity to have memorandum discussions with other communities.
And how they look and their representation. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. So
agree.
when you phrase your motion, maybe phrase it so that it's sometime after the
What's the dates?
It's the weekend, the week of the
Main Street's March
11th.
12th and
Yeah, that
13th, I
week.
think,
So our motion would be,
I would say maybe the April work
for like the
session.
April meeting.
And if,
or the March work session.
Work section.
or if you, I'm sorry, if you want, you can just wait until after the conference, and then you can always make a motion at a subsequent meeting. So you've got several alternatives to consider.
I recommend you go ahead and put it in motion now, so you know it's off the plate. We have so much going on now. If you go ahead and get that motion in place,
Okay.
we know that's coming now. That's what I recommend.
so we're going to make a motion.
You can make the motion.
To revisit it.
1, 2, 3,
MOU
then.
bylaws for
Is
Main
our,
What is it?
Street. MOU, the Main Street,
Yeah.
is our March
I would say March work session.
work session, is that the 21st?
That's when,
That's good.
That just got
March
moved
21st.
to, that just got moved to the date of the fourth Thursday. So you won't have a mini retreat in March.
Oh,
The-
so it's the 28th, okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So
March
you just
28th
moved it to
work session.
28.
so I want to get this wording correctly, because I want to make a motion that we revisit the Main Street Board at our work session for March 28th. Is that correct?
Bob,
You just
right.
made a motion.
And
Just
that-
made a motion.
We have a motion?
Second.
We need a second?
I got a second. I got a second.
Commissioner Miles, thank you for the second. All in favor? Motion passed.
Mayor, just for clarification, Commissioner Davis, that was to revisit the membership.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So just the membership of the bylaws as a whole, Commissioner Davis?
I'm sorry?
The membership or just the bylaws total? Which one are you looking for? Just
For the membership, I want it for the membership.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
March 28.
Correct.
And let's see. We also pulled the police station HVAC,
Appointments, Mayor?
Board appointments.
board appointments. Okay.
Attorney, and I received 2 emails for, also for applications for a couple of positions on the board too as well. I can forward them to you, or whatever you see the best way to do that,
Yes,
Stacey.
please
Okay.
have them send them to me.
And I also,
The top-
No, go ahead.
Finish.
While we're on the topic also, what I'm finding now, citizens are having a hard time filling the application out. They're having to print them out and then send them in. I'm trying to figure out what we can do to implement something where it's electronically done, where they don't have to print this paper out and get it to it, because that is becoming a task for them. Some of them have an opportunity, don't have the opportunity to get off work or whatever it may be, to get in a timely manner. So now we're trying to figure out how we can make it a little bit easier on the citizens.
Well, they're always welcome to fill them out electronically. I receive a lot that way, and they
Okay.
just email them to me. Some people just even take a picture of them and send it to me. So however they want to do it, I've had them mailed in, whatever's easier.
How can they do it electronically? 'Cause I also received an email and a text message from somebody saying they were trying to fill it out, and they could only do it by printing it out.
Yeah.
They couldn't do it electronically.
If they have Adobe, they can just type it in into the document. Depends what they've got. Just tell them to reach out to me. I'm happy to help them.
Awesome.
Moving forward, it might be a good idea if we could change those forms into something fillable.
Yeah,
They're online, so they
IT
can
staff
submit it.
up and running, maybe that can be something that we visit.
Yeah, just fill it in, submit it, and it's done.
Because
Right?
she's saying the way it stated, it sounds like they can fill it online, but they still have to print it or take a picture of it to send it to you. Is that
No, they can just email it
You can,
straight
but you
to
can't
me through
submit it
Adobe.
right there.
You save it in Adobe. What is it, Adobe?
You can. Oh,
And then submit it.
Okay.
Mayor and board, I also received an email of Stacy from Kayla Verdon, who had submitted an application from Parks and Rec Advisory Board, and stated that she's no longer interested and would like to withdraw her application.
Okay, thank you.
So does the board have any more questions or comments? We want to allow the board,
Mayor,
the applicants.
if I may, could I just let you know how many we have available?
Sure.
Okay. So for the planning board, we've got 4 in-town vacancies. David Lowry is applying for reappointment. LaToya Carter has submitted an application, and Sylvia Wheeler has submitted an application. Michael Germano has withdrawn his application. For the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, there's 3 vacancies. Dexter DeAndre Privet has applied for reappointment. Diva Hill has submitted an application, and David Field has submitted an application. And for a Board of Adjustment, there's 2 in-town vacancies, 1 alternate ETJ vacancy, 1 ETJ vacancy, and 1 alternate in-town vacancy. And we received an application from Africa Privet. And I believe some of them, if not all of them, are here tonight to speak.
Thank you.
Can I, should we not table this to our next meeting so that we can add the ones that they received?
I feel like we have members who have applied, who have come on more than one occasion with the expectation that we are going to do these appointments. And so I think that at least for the ones that we currently have, we should at least address those. It will still leave 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 vacancies that will need to be filled, but at least we will have filled the ones that we have applications for currently that have been submitted.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Take a look at what Michelle said. Take a look at what we currently have in-house. Then the applications that we're currently now submitting, they will be looked at another time frame?
Your fingers on the
We appoint what we can, and then, and look at the ones that we've just gotten, and they may be able to fill some of the empty spots in this.
But I think we were saying we can fill some with the ones we have tonight.
Yep.
I think it's Parks and Rec.
Yes, we can definitely do that one.
Yeah. Is that agreeable?
Yes, it is agreeable for me.
Yes.
The three from Parks and Recs are here, so you would like to come up and,
I think that we need to go through that whole process again, do we, Mayor, of coming?
I'm giving them the opportunity if
Okay.
they want to come up
Okay.
and speak.
Well, one of the options we could look at too is just kind of hear them out tonight and then we vote on it, but that's an option too as well. What do you guys think on that? I think I see Mr. Privet in the house now. You guys want to come up or what do you want to do? What do you think, Mayor?
Anybody that wants to come up and they are. You can do it. You can do it over here, Dexter. You can do it at that podium.
Well, since I'm here, good evening, Mayor York, Mayor Pro Tem Harrison, the entire Board of Commissioners, and to each of you. Those of you who don't know, my name is Dexter. I'm a resident here. I was born here, educated here, and I work here. That's important. One, I'm in your community daily. I hear the concerns, the comments of people in the community, and want to continue to be a voice of the people while serving on the Parks and Recreation Board. During my last appointment, we made great strides, notable, which is the master plan, which we all are familiar with, as well as assisting with keeping the community thriving during the height of COVID-19, which I thought was remarkable. I want to continue the great work with the people on the Parks and Recreation Board to provide a better town here and as we grow the town of Zebulon. I'm Dexter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other applicants for the vacant boards that want to come up and speak? I'll give you the opportunity. Come on up, Dave. It doesn't matter at this point.
I know you all used to seeing me. Okay, if you want me to go there, it's fine.
You look better on TV over there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's always important, right? Mr. Mayor and members of the board, I know you all are used to seeing me, and it's been a real pleasure to serve the town of Zebulon as a member of the planning board. I'm here tonight to ask you to reappoint me. You know, we've had some struggles with keeping some appointments and everything, and I'm always striving to keep the board full. You know, being the chair of the board, I really take a lot of pride in what we do to make sure that we continue our movement forward to grow smart and to really thrive as a town. So, you know, if you have any questions for me, you know I'm always here, but please, you know, consider me to be reappointed to the board.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, David.
Anyone else? Do we need a motion to consider those later on with the other applications?
I think someone, you need to make a motion.
Are we comfortable with appointing the ones that's here?
Just the ones here.
Just the ones here.
The ones that are currently in the house.
Right.
I'd like
Appoint
to
them.
make a motion to appoint David Lowry and Dexter Privet to the...
Do we need two separates or just one?
I'll do Dexter.
Could we do two separate
Two
motions,
separate
please,
ones.
since it's two separate boards?
Okay.
I move to appoint David Lowry to the planning board.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Harrison. Any questions, comments? We have a roll vote, starting with Commissioner Davis,
Favor.
Commissioner Clark,
Favor?
Commissioner Harrison,
Favor.
Commissioner Miles,
Favor.
Commissioner Baxter.
Favor.
Unanimous. Welcome back, David. Thank you for your service.
Mayor, I would like
I make a motion to.
She's already started.
They're fighting
Commissioner
over
Harrison?
fighting over Dexter. I would like to make a motion to appoint Dexter DeAndre Privet to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
We
Second.
have a motion, second, Commissioner Baxter. Questions, comments, discussion? Roll vote, starting with Commissioner Baxter.
In favor.
Commissioner Miles? Favor. Commissioner Harrison?
Favor.
Commissioner Clark?
Favor?
Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Motion passes. Welcome back, Dexter. Thank you for your service. Okay. What's this?
All right, and then for the remaining applicants, what is our plan? Because we have some applicants, are we just going to roll that over and then next month put board appointments again on the agenda so that we can get the remaining? Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, excellent.
Do we-
I think we ought to make sure that the people are here that, I would like to meet them.
Okay.
They've not been, the
Well-
reappointed ones are fine, I knew them, but for someone that is wanting to be appointed for the first time, I think we should meet them.
That's fine, but also like for the folks that have already come before us, I think that's like, we've already
Who's over?
gone
Someone
through
already
that.
came before?
Yeah, David Field came before us, and,
I don't
I
remember.
can't,
I don't remember
all
that.
right, well, I'll leave it up to you
start.
guys, but I think that we can appoint the rest of the folks
Do we
in
need a
March.
motion?
All right. So
Okay.
I move that we table the rest of our appointments until the March Board of Commissioners meeting.
We have a motion.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Clark? Discussion?
So there is no one else here, right? I know no one else caught up to speak because we gave them an option to speak, but we're just making sure that no one
Right.
else is here. No one else is here. Okay. All right.
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Or hold your peace until the March meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? We'll have a roll vote. Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Commissioner Clark?
Favor.
Commissioner Harrison?
Favor.
Commissioner Miles?
Favor.
Commissioner Baxter?
Favor.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
What's next? Coastal Carolina Railroad Memorandum of Understanding.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Tonight I want to come to you and talk to you about a memorandum of understanding that the Public Works Department and the planning staff have been working with closely with Whitley Galleries, any potential owners that are looking to potentially buy some of that property they have for sale. We also have worked closely with Carolina Railroad to resolve some potential alley ownership issues that are behind Whitley Galleries. Staff with the town attorney's help have drafted a memo of understanding. We were able to work with Carolina Coastal Railroad to come up with these terms of this agreement, and we have come through and worked to those agreements, and to the point that is now up to y'all to make a final decision. I will give you some highlights of the memo of understanding. It does incorporate existing encroachment, so if we have a building, loading dock or something that's encroaching into the alley, it allows that to remain. Any planned sewer improvements that the Estes family is looking to make will be allowed. Any planned stormwater improvements, that infrastructure that we have going on with the West Horton Street drainage project will be allowed after we present the plans to them. Any future electrical upgrades, as that facility is being separated or something and there needs to be electrical upgrades, they can also go in the alley. The alley will be used for loading and unloading activities for all the businesses along that frontage there. It also will be allowed to do maintenance on those facilities. If there is any painting, roof work, and stuff that needs to be done, those activities will be allowed. It will be allowed for ingress and egress of activities to get and take deliveries or stop in. One thing I do want to make clear, it is not designed or be allowed to be for permanent parking. So you can go in, deliver something, pick up something, and deliver. It also incorporates the dumpster corrals or any dumpsters that need to be put in that area. It also incorporates HVAC trade equipment or anything necessary in that regards to that couldn't be put on a roof to be put in the alley, very similar to some of the existing pieces there. So all those uses would be allowed and are incorporated in the memo of understanding. And with that, like anything else, it comes with some conditions. In our discussions with the Coastal Carolina Railroad, they wanted to see the demolition of the old spur. That is something they have tasked upon Public Works and the town of Zebulon to complete. They also would like to see the installation of a boundary fence, typically like with any other property owners, they like to see and know where their property is. They have asked us to install a fence along that approximately 445 linear feet of alley there to delineate the railroad right-of-way from the alley in use. And they also want a sign up that simply says there's no permanent parking and stuff. A couple of options that we have for you. We have worked into the agreement anywhere in that boundary fence that we have existing City of Raleigh sewer crossing, anywhere we have storm drainage crossing now or in the future, we are allowed to put man gates in to allow us to open up and work in that areas. We also have negotiated into it a 5-day agreement. If I were to work on some storm drainage in the area and I needed to remove a post or a section of fence, I could do that up to 5 days. Anything after that, I would have to get permission from the railroad, but they have worked with us in that regard. The cost to install these improvements, from removing the railroad spur to doing some basic grading out there to get rid of some potholes and stuff and backfill where the railroad track has been removed, and also to install a decorative composite fence is estimated at $24,000. One of the requirements that's in the agreement that the fence has to be in place before the sewer improvements can be made. I think that gives you pretty much the highlights of what's in the MOU. We do think it is in the benefit of the town to move forward with the MOU, and it gives us all the things that we would have if we had ownership of the alley. And I will also give Mr. Eric an opportunity to add any additional comments from legal counsel, since they were very important in drafting this agreement. And I'll stand ready to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Commissioner Baxter?
First off, thanks for getting this taken care of. I know that working with the railroad sometimes can be tricky, so I appreciate the work that you guys have done. I am going to ask, instead of saying that I'm assuming, the increase in taxes, was that work done by our economic developer, Shannon Johnson? She was the one that put that estimate together?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
And that's going to be a yearly estimate for the tax increase?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. So her
Okay.
projection shows.
And as far as the entrance points, the gates, the rest of the fencing is going to be a permanent type fencing, I'm assuming, with sunk posts and whatnot?
Yes, ma'am. It'll be a permanent fencing. We feel like we've chose something that is decorative in nature. We think with having a composite fence that it will be basically very limited maintenance requirements for that. No painting, no pressure washing, anything like that, no staining. We do think it has a long useful life. So once it is installed, hopefully it'll basically be maintenance free for your public works staff.
Now, was this, was there a height request for the fencing, or is it just basically to delineate that that is railroad property?
Basically, it is to delineate. I will tell you that originally the railroad requested a 6-foot privacy fence. We responded back to requested them to do it more of a split rail fence, because as if I'm working on a utility and stuff and need additional room, taking down a split rail fence is a lot simpler to put back up. And we thought it was more attractive than a 6-foot privacy fence. So we was also looking for, since it is the entrance from the south of town, we thought aesthetics was important. And we just did not feel a privacy fence was very attractive.
Yeah, right on. I agree. Thank you so very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, comments?
Just one point of clarification, the railroad has not seen this MOU, so if you do approve it tonight, we do have to submit it for them for their approval. So we'll be basically, if you do give approval tonight, be submitting that to the railroad to get their blessing.
Can you come back before us with their response to the MOU and just give us an update as to what was said?
Yes, ma'am, be glad to.
All right, excellent.
Any other questions, comments?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2024-31, Coastal
Second.
Carolina Road.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Baxter, thank you. Questions? Comments? We'll do a roll vote. Commissioner Baxter?
Oh, in favor.
Commissioner Miles?
Favor.
Commissioner Harrison?
Favor.
Commissioner Clark?
Favor?
Commissioner Davis? Motion passed. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Chris.
You need to do the budget as well.
This is the budget.
Good.
Two items, MOU and
You need to approve the memo, and you approved the ordinance, budget ordinance of 2431. I just need you to approve the MOU as that is currently presented to you.
Oh, so I make a motion to approve the MOU for the
MOU was
Carolina
approved,
Coastal
right?
Railroad and the town of Zebulon. Is that what you need?
Yes, ma'am.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Commissioner Harrison?
This is something separate.
Discussion? We have a roll vote, starting with Commissioner Davis,
Favor.
Commissioner Clark,
Favor?
Commissioner Harrison.
Favor.
Commissioner Miles.
Favor.
Commissioner Baxter.
Favor.
Motion passes. Now, we just needed two votes. Oh, okay.
Oh, you want to do this one? Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's on everyone.
All right, we got our signals crossed a little bit. Apologize for that. This is, we come back for you tonight, Mayor and members of the board. As you may recall, last year, approximately about this time as we entered budget season, we started talking about the Public Works need for a construction coordinator position. Through that process and several long discussions, we decided to wait and to determine to see if the growth would continue in Zebulon. And we told you at that time, if things continue to develop at the hectic pace, we would come back to you. And as you well know, the growth has not slowed up in Zebulon. It is still exceeding at a record pace. As you recall, we are currently on a pace to exceed last year's growth with the acceptance of subdivisions, commercial developments, and roadway miles. So the need is there at this point in time. We did come to you in December to appropriate some funds to be as a bridge, $26,000 to bridge us to the point where we could come back and give you a full a recommendation. We are prepared to give you that recommendation tonight. Myself, Ms. Markland, our HR director, and our town manager have talked, and we feel it's in the best interest that we move forward at this time with a construction budget closeout coordinator. The cost to accomplish that is $25,000 to get it through the remaining of this fiscal year. Clearly, we go out and seek immediately to hire that position. And I'm standing ready to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions, comments from the board? Commissioner Baxter.
So the position is a $125,000 position, or is it $100,000?
It's $100,000.
Okay, okay, cool.
125 is the RTU.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And I will tell you that we are using inspection fees that we have collected above the budgeted amount that we received this year to fund this. So these fundings will not be coming from fund balance. It's come from inspection fees that are paid by developers.
Awesome.
Any other questions, comments? We need a vote. A motion?
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-32.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Discussion? We have a roll vote. Commissioner Clark?
Commissioner Clark? Yes.
Commissioner Harrison?
Favor.
Commissioner Baxter?
Favor?
Commissioner Miles?
Favor.
Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Motion passes. Thank you,
guys.
Chris.
Appreciate that.
Bed was kind of blurry.
Shaking it up a little bit.
Keep you on your toes.
Keep on your toes.
Not me.
Zebulon Fire Station Assessment Budget. Manager Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Perry's been called into service, so I'm going to do my best to represent this staff report. You'll recall from last night's joint public hearing on Zebulon South how the applicant has offered as a condition a parcel of land to be used for a fire station. We're very appreciative of the offer. When we look at very rough schematics, it looks like a fire station would fit on the site. We need to do some more detailed site assessment, examples being doing some geotechnical soil cores to make sure that property can support the weight of a fire station. Also, as we do before any property purchase, we would want to do an environmental assessment. And so this budget amendment is to fund some due diligence before we determine whether the offer from the Zebulon South applicant actually could provide and be used as a fire station. I'll take any questions you may have.
Questions, comments from the board? Commissioner Baxter?
Are we putting the cart before the horse a little bit, since we haven't voted on this yet, or if we were to do these core samples and some of this other investigative work, is there a way that if we decide not to move forward with this project, I mean, we may, but we may not, that some of those core samples could be used if we were considering locating a fire station somewhere in that approximate area in the future, but not necessarily on that site?
Okay. The reason that staff is recommending funding it now is so when Zebulon South comes back to you, we're in a position where we can verify that what's been offered to you actually can be a fire station site. So that's why we're saying go ahead and invest the money now. As far as the soil samples from this site, projecting that it would be representative of other sites in the area, that would not be applicable. The soils, the bearing capacity, things like that are very much site specific.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments?
So we're potentially spending money that we probably shouldn't spend. Which is about $10,000, because we haven't even, like what Commissioner Baxter stated, we haven't even approved that community yet. So we're kind of like, I think we need to address the community first before we spend the money.
I was going to say the same thing. I actually think it's wise that we hold off on spending that $10,000. I hear what you're saying, Joe, but if we have not gone before the board to approve this development, I don't see why we would spend the $10,000 at this time.
Could we move this to a work session topic for this month so that maybe Chief Perry has the opportunity to come back and maybe talk a little bit more?
So that's 2 days from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would afford you, unless he gets called on an emergency, but that would afford you the opportunity to, for him to speak to you.
I like that.
Does that work with everybody? Okay.
Work session.
Okay. So would you like me to make a motion then?
Do we need a motion?
You do, a motion to table to a date specific.
So I make a motion to table the fire station site due diligence work to February 15th work session.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
Break down.
Mayor, the
Need a break.
pulled several items, and so I was just going to recognize staff in order.
Break before.
Already.
Can we take a 5-minute break? 7:40.
I think we're in need of a 5-minute break, recess. Thank you. Bobby?
I guess this next item would be ordinance 2024-27 that was pulled.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Which one?
The bond council on ordinance 2024-27.
Bond.
Who pulled that?
I did.
It's Amber.
Yeah, that's me.
Amber, do you have the page? I know you.
34. Page 34. We should have that.
Yes, bond referendum funding council, ordinance 2024-27.
I've got a couple questions.
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
So it says that we have incurred $39,000 in the unbilled services. So, but what I was looking for was a breakdown or an invoice that showed what those services were exactly.
This was a service they had done. They came to multiple meetings, did a lot of preliminary work when we were looking at a November 23 bond referendum. When in the end that didn't happen, but this is a bill for that work that they have already done. Part of this is for that, and then the rest is for future work that they would do.
Okay.
Is that what you mean? We don't have the invoice in here, but it's for work they did, like in the spring and summer of 2023.
Is that something that you can get to the board so I can review that? And can you give me a history of that? Because all of this took place obviously before I was on the board. So looking if you can give me some details of what that work was.
The invoice is not very detailed, the one that I can share, but it was, I forget what all it says as far as the detail, but it's basically hourly rate type work. We entered an arrangement with them back in February of last year, and it's just for services they've already rendered, and we can get you a copy of it.
Bobby, just describe the services, since she was not on the board, just explain what they did for us.
We give them a lot of scenarios that they run. Let's say we do a $10 million bond in 24, 10 more in 26. What they do is run scenarios showing the tax implications of timing. We give them a lot of information, and they basically crunch and churn out future cash flow projections, things like that. I'll be glad to share you the stuff that they provided to us, the rest of the board, back at those mini retreats and work sessions. But
Yeah, I was going to suggest that the information that we had during the mini retreat from the talking about bonds, was some kind of way that information could be shared with Commissioner Davis.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about that specific line item, then the expected expenditures from this point forward are only going to be, as far as the financial advisors go, anticipated to be another $31,000?
Roughly, probably so in this fiscal year, yes. There may be additional in FY25, as that work is ongoing. You know, if the bond referendum happens, and then they go to issue the bonds in probably the spring of next year, then, you know, there will be some additional costs associated with the work they do for that.
So the additional 61,000 will be spent in this year, this fiscal year, for this bond referendum information?
Possibly.
I know we've already.
It depends on how much work is actually done on the other end. You know, they kind of bill on a hourly rate, for lack of a better term. So it may not be the whole $70,000 for bond council. It may not be $60,000 for the educational campaign, but you know, of course, whatever's not spent will roll till next year, and then we would, you know, reappropriate if necessary, the amounts necessary.
So these amounts are just guesstimates of what we spent going forward.
Right. Well, not guesstimates, but estimates from them.
From previous?
Right. Correct.
So we already have somebody for the education campaign part of it, or make sure I understand this is just one organization that takes care of all three?
No.
Okay.
There are three different, Davenport's the only one we've entered into an arrangement with. That's the financial advisors. We have not engaged any bond counsel yet, nor anybody for educational campaign. So we have those are just estimates based on a couple we've talked to. But nobody has been engaged to do any work yet for those other two.
I'm understanding, so we're looking at this money, at these expenses, the 70,000 for the bond counsel, another 70 for the financial advisor, and then 60,000 for the educational campaign. But you're saying that you've only moved forward with the financial advisor at this time?
At minimum, that's what we need to do right now, yes. The initial work with the other two, that could start here in the late spring. The process for the application with LGC and proceeding on with the bond, putting the bond referendum on the ballot, that would start in the spring. And just depends on how quick the education campaign might kick in. Should the board choose to move forward, which that will be coming up in the next 2 months, probably, like the go or no go point. Did that answer the question?
It does. I would like to see, like I said before, more of an invoice or a breakdown of these before we start spending $200,000. That's a lot of money.
Would it be helpful for you to get an invoice of the services that we've already incurred fees for? Like asking, I'm sure that they can provide that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have
Would that
already.
be helpful?
That would be very
Okay.
helpful.
And then I guess my question is, which I didn't have before we started talking about this, but so the anticipated bond referendum is going to be on the November ballot. And so after the end of the fiscal year, we may still incur more debt related to actually running the bond. So it might cost us more than the $200,000 to run the bond because this is just going to get us through to the end of the fiscal year?
Well, the 200 should cover the whole process.
The whole process.
That'll probably straddle over this year and next.
Okay. All right. And so at that point, would the funds not used go back into general fund and then we'll have to pull them back out again?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Correct. Yeah, whatever's not spent of this will not, it won't be spent. It'll roll back in the fund balance at that point.
Okay.
Since we're still there as well, can you give me examples of kind of like what would consist of the education campaign? $60,000. What would it be spent on? Just can you break that down for me? Give me little scenarios, please.
Basically, these are firms that do this consulting work and work in municipalities, counties, things like that to educate the public. You'll see here in the paragraph, we can't lobby for the bond to pass. What we can do is just educate the public and say, hey, here's what we're going to do. And they're experts at doing that and putting together mailers, things like that to share and put out. And because we can't, like I said, we can't lobby for it.
But what we've seen in the past is like examples, like I believe, didn't we see Wake Forest's education campaign? And so would that be helpful to see what their education campaign looked like?
I think it's been a $6,000. I would love to see that because, like I said, it would be new to me. See what it consists of.
Okay. So can you get that out to the board, please? Just links to the, I believe we saw some videos and saw some examples of how they ran their campaign.
So Wake Forest did it?
I think it was Wake Forest.
I think Garner.
Oh, maybe it was Garner? I thought it was Wake Forest. Well, Wake Forest just ran one successfully, so maybe that's what I was thinking.
Thank you, Bob.
So we will need to, you want to table this or just what do we want to do?
if we table it, I would say don't table it till anything later than the March board meeting, because I'm sure that we're kind of on a timeline with some of these things.
Let's table it then. We get the information that Commissioner Davis needs, that I would like to see for the education aspect of things, and then we take a look at it in March.
Okay. Would that still, yeah.
We've got a bill to pay, and so,
So at the very least, we need
paid
to
the
pay the
$39,000.
$39,000.
so if the board would consider at least a budget adjustment for the, what is it, 39,000, Bobby?
Correct.
So if we could at least get that, we can always come back with other information, but we've got an outstanding bill that we need to pay.
So since that's not in an ordinance, Joe, do you just want a motion to pay the $39,000 unbilled incurred fees?
Recommendation is amend ordinance 2024-27 to show fund balance appropriation of, Bobby, what's the number?
39,000.
39,000.
Yeah. And then we will have an update on that information we requested at our next regular scheduled meeting. Can you say all that?
I'm gonna try, and I'm sure somebody will tell me if I'm not getting it right.
Go ahead.
So I would like to amend ordinance 2024-27 to reflect paying the $39,000 in unbilled services from financial advisors, and what else? Is that enough?
Update information
Update information
for the
education.
March meeting.
And update the information for the March meeting.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Any further discussion? Would that do it? A roll vote. Commissioner Baxter.
In favor.
Commissioner Davis.
Favor.
Commissioner Clark. Commissioner Miles.
Favor.
Commissioner Harrison.
Favor.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
Drone purchase.
Chief Borking. Let's see.
Drone purchase.
Drone purchase, ordinance 2024-28.
Hey, so I just wanted to ask you, I know we talked via email, but just if you could just give us a little bit of details about the type of drone that you're purchasing for this. It's $12,000, I believe.
So the drone that we're purchasing is a mid-sized drone that has the capability for, I wouldn't say severe weather, but poor weather deployment. Right now, the drone that we're operating is a small kind of inside use drone, but we have used it outside here lately when we needed it. The new drone has infrared capability, so it's able to monitor heat sources, which is useful for us, most notably at night. If we're dealing with a missing person, it would help us identify heat sources during the dark times, and it never fails that when we have a missing person reported, it's at 4:45 in the middle of winter, so we're losing daylight quickly. It does have roughly a 2-mile zoom capability, which can be useful for longer distances. However, we have to abide by certain restrictions from the FAA and can't fly any higher than 400 feet, so we wouldn't be needing 2 miles of zoom from high up. We might need it vertically.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have anything else? I just wanted to ask about the software, because it does state that the drone you already have is no longer usable for the software. Is there
So the rules changed for drones in the last year, requiring now that the drone itself has to be GPS located, and the driving device has to be GPS located. The drone that we have now does not have GPS locator on the device that drives it, and so we're not allowed to use it anymore.
Okay. So when we get a new device, we will run into that, but just later on, based upon how they change the regulations.
I'm sorry?
So for the new device, we'll run into that eventually if they change the regulations again on the usage of that?
Well, the new device would have both GPS locators.
Correct. For currently, but I'm saying future-wise, like will we have to purchase another one again?
Yeah, I couldn't begin to think about how that might change in the future, but potentially it's a piece of technology, and technology changes so quickly that, like our laptop computers, we're having to replace every 3 years. I can envision having to replace the drone. Actually, we place all of our equipment on a rotation schedule. And so I know that a handheld radio is going to last probably 8-9 years or so. Radar in a car, 8, 9, 10 years. But there are certain pieces of equipment that we know will only last 4 years. And so printers in patrol vehicles, we may be replacing twice during the life of a car. The drones have been placed on a replacement schedule, and it's a 5-year schedule.
That's all the questions. I was just asking those questions. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it. Just when I saw the $12,000, the next thing I was looking for was pictures of it and then details of the specs of the type of drone purchasing. So thank you.
Commissioner Miles?
This has nothing to do with the drone, but it does. What kind of training do our officers go through for that drone operation, and what type of, how many of our officers are qualified?
Yeah, we have 2 pilots right now. They are both licensed through the North Carolina DOT and the FAA. It is a very difficult program. And in order to fly the drone commercially, you are supposed to have those licenses. A lot of people operate them without proper licensing. They're required to do so many hours each year. We far exceed that. They put the drone up at least once a month in training format. The way that we operate is that there needs to be 2 of them together at any time. You have one person who's operating and one person who is spotting. And it's still, I would say, a relatively new piece of technology. So they get it out to play with it. It ends up being training time, but we're still trying to learn all the capabilities of it.
Thank you. And we do have a drone policy in place, correct?
We do.
Okay, thank you. And
Sent that an email as well. She shared that with me, and I sent you probably get a chance to look at it.
Thank you. Last question for you. I see on the document here, it said a local citizen donated our last one. Are we at liberty to say who that person was, that citizen was?
I'm sorry?
I see here the document that we received, it said a local citizen donated our last one. Are we at liberty to say who that was that donated to the police department?
If I remember correctly, he asked to remain anonymous.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? We need to vote on,
Yes, sir.
what is it, ordinance?
2024-28.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion we approve ordinance 2024-28.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Baxter. Discussion? We'll have a roll vote. Commissioner Miles?
Favor.
Commissioner Baxter?
Favor.
Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Commissioner Clark?
Favor?
Commissioner Harrison?
Favor.
Motion passes. Thank you,
Thank you.
Chief.
Thank you, Jackie.
Next was HVAC. I think that was the next one. Davis?
Yeah, so my question, the same thing as before. When I'm looking through these, I'm always looking for invoices and the billing to understand.
This project hasn't been completed. They were coming to you in advance. If you recall, at your January meeting, Mary gave a presentation for some of our CIP projects, and this was a project that was on that list to replace 1 through 5 RTUs at the police station. Clearly, we at that time did not expect them to start looking and causing failure issues, but on January 18th, we had 2 of them come Freon leaks, and the Freon leaks caused them to go into major mechanical clunking, metal on metal grinding. We were able to get them shut off fairly quickly, and we put Freon back in and sealed the leak. But we are we're unable to tell how much damage has been done to the compressors. So I can stand here and tell you today that they might last 2 more days, they could last 2 more years, but the uncertainty is what we are dealing with, that they could fail tomorrow. And since we had a project in the budget for next year's CIP, we recommended to our manager to move forward and take funds from the savings from the swimming pool demolition and go ahead and fund that project. A couple of benefits to us is economies of scale by doing all 5 units at one time. It also allows Public Works to manage one project instead of multiple projects. It gives us a little bit of flexibility. Lead time on rooftop units can be anywhere from 3 to 5 months, so we can get started on that sooner than later. It also, hopefully, we can hit timing where when we take these units out of service, that our police, it's not in the mid of summertime, and so our police department is not sweltering while we replace these 5 units. One of the other things that we're doing with this project, if you approve the funding tonight and transfer the funding, is to transition these to gas units, which are more efficient, feels warmer, and have a lower operating cost. So it was a project definitely we were recommending as part of our CIP. We did not realize that they were going to fail this soon. They are at the end of their useful life. The typical HVAC useful life is 12 to 15 years. I replaced these units when we renovated the police station in 2008, so they're already at the end of their useful life. And we just thought it was an opportunity with savings from the pool demolition to transfer it here and get ahead of the curve before potentially they cost us more money.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. I definitely think this is important, needing to get done as soon as possible. The next question was just going to be, it's $125,000 from the swimming pool demolition, and I wasn't sure if the board, if you guys had already discussed that amount and using it towards the HVAC system, or was that going to be used towards?
No, I think that this was savings from, we had estimated, what was it, 185?
I don't remember what the estimate was, but these are savings from a completed project, and so tonight we're coming in front of you and saying, instead of appropriating the new money out of fund balance, let's move these savings from one project to another project. And so that's what we're doing tonight. This is first time all commissioners are seeing about relocating fundings from a savings at the pool to this project.
Got it. Yeah.
Just be clear that this is money that we already have from
Yes,
another
sir.
project.
Yes, sir.
And we just want to use it for this project.
Yes. Right. The project for the pool come in under budget, which is a good thing, so we use these savings to address another capital issue.
So was the rest of the board aware of the 125 already? You guys were aware of that already? The savings? You guys were aware that those funds were
I
there?
think that you told us, didn't you say that you
I can't
came in
remember.
under
That's what
budget
I
or
remember.
maybe, but I don't know, I don't remember the
I don't think we
125.
officially gave a number that we were, how much we were under budget. We may, in general conversation, said we are under budget. We should bring it in significantly under. I don't think, and we try not to never do that until the project's fully complete to tell you actually how much we under. And so now with the project that's complete, we feel comfortable with that. We closed out the project. The contractor's been paid. We know there's $125,000 of savings left in that project. So now we feel comfortable recommending you transfer it.
Thank you. So is there a magic number, Chris, for the bid out process? So this will be bidded out, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir, it is.
What is that magic?
Yeah. We have a policy for purchasing and a policy in practice that anything over $30,000 we typically take out to bid. So what we'll be doing is hiring an engineer to help us with the modifications of the units. Also look at potentially downsizing one units and also putting our plans together and also securing our permits. And then we'll be bidding this out to local contractors.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments? Is there a motion?
Yep. I move to approve ordinance 2024-29.
2022.
I'm sorry?
No.
That's this one up here.
I got you.
20,
It's down here.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
with the writing.
2024, 29.
It's in
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Commissioner Harrison. Any more discussion, comments? We have a roll vote. Commissioner Clark?
Favor?
Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Commissioner Miles?
Favor.
Commissioner Baxter?
In favor.
Commissioner Harrison?
Favor.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes.
Next, we have professional service budget amendment. Commissioner Davis?
I just wanted to ask some questions because I'm not sure who can answer these. This might be for Joe. You guys had 2 successive searches, it says, to find an engineer qualified to meet these, the needs, I'm sorry, for the stormwater program, but they were unsuccessful, so I was just trying to inquire what made them unsuccessful.
It is a very competitive market. Engineers' services are very much in demand by the private sector. It's very difficult to find an engineer. We tried on 2 successive opportunities. This has been what I've heard from other managers as well, even the private sector. So it's just a very competitive market to find someone for the skill sets that we were looking for in addition, which stormwater was a big component, but also transportation. I think that was a unique combination, but we didn't find anyone who had those skill sets as well. So competitive market and skill sets. We tried twice. I think we need to cut our losses. They need help specifically in the stormwater program, but that's the backstory to what has brought us to this point.
I will add to that, just a different perspective from Joe's is when I talk to my engineering friends and colleagues out there that we do business with, it is, they are, as Joe said, is very competitive. They're going out of state recruiting people in Texas to come to work in North Carolina because they're licensed reciprocate. Other places, even they're looking for people as far away to bring them here and let them work as engineers and then let them retest. They are searching nationally to get engineers. It is a very hot topic and stuff. And so what we're asking for with these funds is to continue with our engineer that we've been working with to handle the development review, and your Public Works Department will continue the management of the stormwater program for the time being.
And you're still going to be searching to fill the...
I think at this time, we're going to delay that for the rest of the fiscal year, and we'll evaluate that in our next budget process.
So the 57 would just be to
June 30th.
use those contract services until the end of the year?
Yes, sir.
And,
Yes, ma'am.
And you're just suspending the search until next fiscal year?
Yes, sir. Until we reevaluate if that's the direction we need to go in.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Commissioner Davis? No. You good? Is there a motion?
To approve ordinance 2024-30.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Commissioner Clark. Discussion. We have a roll vote. Commissioner Miles?
Favor.
Commissioner Harrison?
Favor.
Commissioner Baxter?
In favor.
Commissioner Clark?
Favor?
Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
Manager's report?
Well, we got board
Oh,
comments.
board
next.
comment.
Yeah.
Which one?
Board comments.
Board comments? Commissioner Miles?
None at this time, sir.
Commissioner Baxter?
Well, I'll take your time then, partner.
He can't get it on his time.
That's it.
Listen, we had two really, really exciting things happen within a week's time that are board related that I want to kind of sing from the mountaintops. Commissioner Miles successfully completed the advanced leadership course through the School of Government. This is a very competitive class. It is intensive. It is it really stretches you to places where you've never been, and you come out on the other end a much better leader with a much stronger understanding of good governance. And first, I'd like to applaud Commissioner Miles for taking the time out of his life and dedicating himself to completing this program. It was one that I did in 2022, and for a town our size, to have as many members having gone through this class and completed it since its inception. There have been 10 classes and 208 graduates out of all of the 100 counties, all of the municipalities, and all of the school boards. And yet, sitting right here, we have myself, Commissioner Miles, the mayor, and Commissioner Clark all having taken the time out of their lives to pursue that certification. And so it's kind of a big deal. And I'm going to say, let's clap for you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. That means a lot, Commissioner Baxter. Thank you. That means a lot.
In addition, our Super Mayor 5000 has been recognized by the NAACP, and I was so honored to be at that ceremony to honor him and his humanitarian work and his leadership and his dedication to making sure that we are a more inclusive and accommodating society. And I'm just emotional right now. Like, good for us and good for you. And what a tremendous amount of work and what a tremendous honor to be recognized. So thank you so much for doing everything that you do to make this town, our community, and our eastern side of this county so much better. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm standing and clapping for you too.
I knew I was great, but Commissioner.
I'm not done.
Oh.
I also have to say that we have some exciting things going on at the community center tomorrow. So if you have yet to buy your sweetheart flowers, you can race to the community center and hand make a construction paper card for the love of your life. I will be constructing one for my love, which is coffee. So coffee, I will be making you a Valentine tomorrow at the community center. In addition, at 10, there is the senior social and adult social. I go there and make terrible crafts on a regular basis, but I enjoy the fellowship, and it's a really nice opportunity to connect with people in our community. So that's also at the community center. And finally, probably one of my favorite things that we do, bingo, is happening at 4 p.m. So B4, my favorite. In addition, we also have another senior social coming up on the 24th, which is a Saturday. Actually, we have a lot of things going on, so I just encourage everyone to check out the Parks and Rec website for a list of everything that we have going on. There's so many people from the Public Works Department that have been recognized recently, as well as police officers who do wonderful things and get wonderful certifications in meaningful things, as well as we have a police officer that, you know, is working hard towards his ancient technology certification, and he graduated with an A- in fax machine operations. So congratulations to that. And now I think is that it? Oh, leap year. So if anyone was born on February 29th, happy birthday. The end.
Finally.
I know, right? So pretty.
Commissioner Davis?
She took everything from me, so there's not much left to say. But thank you, Shannon, for stating what, the success of Commissioner Miles and Mayor York. It was an honor this week to be at both events, to see them be successful. It is an honor continuing to be a part of this board. You guys have all set the standard very high. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service, Mayor York, Commissioner Miles, and to the rest of you. Thank you.
Commissioner Clark?
I just want to, it was nice having a nice group out in the audience tonight, and congratulations to Quentin and to Glenn.
Thank you.
Commissioner Harris?
Thank you, Mayor. I share the same sentiments as everyone else. Congratulations to both of you, exceptional leaders. Thank you for continuing to lead with integrity and dedication to our town. We appreciate you. I also wanted to take the time, because I have forgotten for the last few months, to say thank you to whoever said or put it in the plan to put a light at Green Pace in Arendelle. It has been life-changing for those of us that live on this side of town. It has truly, truly helped traffic. I know one light, you think that it won't make a lot of difference, but a light and some lanes has made a huge difference for those of us that commute to on this side of town every day. So thank you for all of the hard work that was put into doing that. I really appreciate it. I also wanted to remind everyone that on Sunday, James E. Shepard will be hosting the African American Experience in honor of Black History Month. The time is from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Zebulon Community Center. And go Zebulon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And my sentiments also for Chris and Public Works, making that project move a little faster than it normally moves, although all projects seem like they don't move fast enough, but it could have been slower. So I appreciate your efforts in making sure that we got that project online, because it is definitely a game changer, and looking for more. Thank you. I appreciate everybody coming out to support me and receiving the humanitarian award from the Wendell Wake NAACP. It was indeed an honor and privilege. I was glad to see folks there to support me. Thank you, Commissioner Miles, for your sacrifice and effort for leadership school, although mine was the best, 2021. But anyway, as I've heard it said so many times, the class does not only make you a better elected official, it makes you a better person.
I agree.
And those relationships that you have created will be lifelong relationships.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sacrificing and going, because it is intense. I just had one other thing. The Zebulon Preservation is having a tax credit workshop. I think it's the 20, I forget the date now. Tuesday, this Tuesday, yes. So everyone that's interested in tax credits, come out and to the workshop. It'll be here at Town Hall.
I forgot something.
Commissioner Axer?
Listen, I'm doing the Dancing with the Stars of Wendell and Zebulon. So if you'd like to see me bust out some sweet breakdancing moves, February 23rd, I'll probably post about it at some point, so
Thank you.
Now I'm really done for real.
All right. And that's all I had. Manager Moore?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll recognize Planning Director Michael Clark for a development update, and then recognize Finance Director Bobby Fitz for some budget transfers, and then that will conclude the manager's report.
Mayor, members of the board. As always, the best source for the development updates is always the town's interactive development page. As you recall, we did recently revamp the page. Not only does it have the map, it also has the list of all the projects below that. The first of the new projects that was submitted might be familiar to, at least a familiar location to some of you. A couple of years ago, the board approved a conditional rezoning for a bungalow court, which is a style of residential development. The property owner has determined that it's not financially feasible to move forward with that, so they've resubmitted a request for 901 Mac Todd Road to be a townhome project. On our interactive development map, you can click on the independent links, and it brings up not only a rendering of what is being proposed, but also all the applicable documentation, including the neighborhood meeting, what was submitted. And this is upgraded or updated periodically as we receive new documents based on each of the different submittals. So it creates a fully transparent process for not only you, but also the planning board and the citizens of Zebulon to see what we see almost in real time. In terms of rezonings in process, as you may recall, last month I commented about we received an application for 24/7 fitness. This is located Pierce's Road, North Arundel, these two tracks behind the Waffle House. They're looking for a full construction of multiple tenants. We've been working with them in terms of some site design configurations. There's going to be a couple more modifications that are going to be pending, including possible cross-access agreements with Waffle House. We are still waiting on their transportation impact analysis, but we are working with both the property owner as well as the engineer of record on this project. You could probably anticipate seeing this sometime late spring, early summer, coming before you for joint public hearing and then planning board recommendation and decision. In terms of construction drawings that are moving forward, we have go back to the map. The 7-Eleven is continuing to move forward. We've had meetings with NCDOT. As you recall, both this, the 7-Eleven, as well as the Cookout project, there's some transportation impact or transportation improvements that are going to need to be made, including an additional turn lane off of the off-ramp from US 264 and 64 onto Arundel, as well as the completion of Jones Street in both directions, or at least additional segments of Jones Street in both directions. For both of these projects, we are still working with the engineers regarding some site access concerns, making sure that it's safe movements moving forward. Both of these are in review with our technical review committee. We're also reviewing storage max. As you may recall, this was a special use permit that you approved last summer. We're working with them in terms of not only some of the road improvements that they're going to have to make, as well as some site configurations that we're working through, make sure it's still in keeping with the approval while creating options for them to create the best possible development. Finally, two projects that are approved, one of which is already under construction, and that is Cadence Meadows, located, let me get my bearing. This planned development, it used to be known as the Pony Road Plan Development. One thing that's important with this is you're seeing a lot of site clearing right now. One of the conditions that's associated with this development is also for the construction of a future roundabout at Pony Road and West Gannon. That will have to occur before they hit a certain threshold of certificate of occupancies. So you'll start seeing some engineering work occur out there as they're going through and finalizing those designs. One project that hasn't started construction, but we recently finalized the construction, is for the townhome project on the end of East Barbie Street. As you may recall, this was for the construction of 47 dwellings, specifically townhome project that is all alley-loaded townhomes within walking distance of both downtown as well as community park. It took several different iterations. I believe this went through 8 review cycles with our technical review committee before they were able to meet all these standards, including the utility allocation policy. But with that, that completes the development update, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions?
So the date start on it, they have a projected start date, did you say?
We do not have a projected start date. We will have a pre-construction meeting with them before they're able to break ground, but the construction drawings have been signed. I believe that they haven't finalized which engineer or if they're going to sell the project to a separate entity, specifically a home builder. We're still working with them to find out those details. But whoever it is, if they do transfer ownership and the vested rights, they will have to meet all of the approved conditions and applicable details with the utility allocation policy as well as the construction drawings.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments for update? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. I'll be real short. Just have a few budget transfers to report. The planning department moved $1,700 from travel and training to materials and supplies. And the fire department moved $10,000 from career ladder to part-time salaries. And Parks and Recreation moved $10,000 to part-time salaries. Community Center, $2,000 of that was from cultural and recreation programs. $2,000 more from computers. $3,000 from community center programs, and $3,000 from community center materials and supplies. And then finally moved $4,000 from sustainability to part-time salaries, parks maintenance. Thank you. That's it.
Any questions, comments
Thank you, Barbara.
for finance?
So the initial sustainability funding was $5,000, right? And I believe,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, so the total budget was $5,000, and that included hiring an intern from NC State, as well as the application for B-City, and funding to be able to put towards some sort of programming that we may want to do as we work through the sustainability effort. So we were able to acquire an intern through NC State. The request that when we were working with NC State is that rather than paying them contract, we put them on staff. And so that's why we have that transfer of funding to be able to pay for the intern through staffing.
okay, and I just want to make sure that there will still be the funds available for the B-City application to be completed and for that initiative to move forward.
Absolutely. So we're working towards that. We were going to provide an update on Thursday in our presentation of where we are with the B-City project and sustainability in general.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Quick, I'll get to that real fast. So this person gets full benefits too as well as on staff? They get the insurance, health benefits and everything too as
No,
well?
no. Our part-time staff don't receive
Part-time, okay, thank you.
health insurance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you. As allowed by GS 143-318.11A6 for the purpose of personnel discussion, do we have a motion to go into closed session?
I make a motion that we go into closed session for personnel matters.
And need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Harrison. All in favor? Go into closed session. Thank you.